Okay, we're going to open the work session of our meeting. The New Jersey Public's Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Belvidere Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted with the Star Ledger and Express Times, and submitted to the town clerk of the town of Belvidere on January 9th, 2023. The meeting will be live streamed at www.belvideresd.org. Flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ackerman?
Here.
Mr. Blum? Dr. Zuppeth?
Here.
Duckworth?
Here.
Mrs. Gardella?
Here.
Mr. McElroy?
Here.
Mr. Scott?
Here.
Mrs. Steffen?
Here.
Mrs. Weidlich? Mrs. Wenner?
Here.
Mr. Wenner?
Here.
Okay, so committee reports. We had a curriculum meeting, and Heather's not here as our chair.
Yeah, so I sent out the notes last Friday with the weekly update. We spent most of the meeting talking about the concept of a common schedule next year, district-wide. Actually, I think we spent the vast majority of the meeting discussing that, just talking about what that could possibly look like and framed it out. So I think that was represented within the notes, and that was pretty much it. So I don't want to go too much into detail on that schedule at the moment, but because it's going to be obviously part of negotiations.
Yes. Any questions on the notes that you guys got? Much.
We did just also have a sports ad hoc committee meeting. I don't know if Mrs. Wenner or Mr. McElroy, I don't know who was taking better notes. Probably guess neither, but I don't know if you want to just kind of talk a little bit about the meeting.
Notes. Yeah, so we just had a meeting. We talked a little bit about some of the communication systems that we want to put forth, like the Game Changer app or Team Snap or something like that. Just a little more seamless process to eliminate some, emails going back and forth between coaches and parents and boosters and things like that. And it would be on one particular app again. And Mr. Bartow had mentioned we're looking to do that again for the winter sports, and he's still kind of narrowing down exactly what app we're going to go forward with. But I think that, again, will eliminate a lot of confusion with where locations are, because on those apps, you click on it, sends directions right to your phone. Parents can go, the kids know where it is, things like that. So we talked a little bit about that. We discussed also talking about the interest, getting some interest from kids. I guess Mr. Bartow had sent out Google Classroom emails trying to get interests on upcoming sport events, and the kids, they don't always email back and things like that. So we talked about some other ways in which we can get the kids to actually fill out a form, and we're thinking about going back to paper. Just do an old school paper form at the end of class and say, let us know what sport you're interested in, and then hopefully the coaches could follow up like that. Again, the importance is just getting kids involved and getting them into the sporting programs. Talked a little bit about some of the, I guess, surveys, and not only the surveys with the sportings, but also with some of the coaches and things like that, and changes, upcoming changes potentially, and what that looks like, and talked about a little bit more of the programs for the freshman basketball, and maybe looking for a coach. So, just really kind of getting our head around what's coming down the pipeline, and, next steps going forward. We don't have a date as of yet, but I'll send an email out for the next meeting, and, we'll get something on the table and hopefully have a little more concrete, as far as basketball and the winter sports and what's coming.
Any questions about that? No? Okay, so now we're looking to go in executive session for personnel. Can I have a motion?
In HIB.
Oh, and an HIB. We're doing that?
Yep.
Okay, now, okay. Can I have a motion for that?
Motion. Second.
Okay.
Take your picks out. One of us.
All right, any discussion held by the board which need not remain confidential will be made public as soon as practical. Minutes of the executive session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. The board will reconvene in public session at the conclusion of the closed session in approximately half hour? Okay, in a half hour? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn to the regular meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Moving on to our regular scheduled meeting. The New Jersey Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed and acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Belvidere Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted with the Star Ledger and the Express Times and submitted to the town clerk of the town of Belvidere on January 9th, 2023. The meeting will be live streamed at www.belvideresd.org. Flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The mission of the Belvidere School District is to celebrate our past and empower our future while focusing on the four cornerstones of our district: tradition, excellence, academics, and community. We strive to build confident and promote collaboration. We encourage an equal partnership with our students and the staff as well as its community members. We empower everyone to develop the best version of themselves. The Belvidere School District is committed to shaping students into global citizens who take the initiative for their success and contribute to the continued excellence of the district. Our students are leaders in the decision-making process of their education and will be prepared to excel in the 21st century society. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ackerman?
Here.
Mr. Blum? Dr. Zuppeth?
Here.
Mrs. Duckworth?
Here.
Mrs. Gardella?
Here.
Mr. McElroy?
Here.
Mr. Scott?
Here.
Mrs. Stefan?
She'll be back.
Mrs. Weidlich? Mrs. Winter?
Here.
Mr. Winter?
Here.
Okay. Public participation. Anybody have some? Yep.
So my name's Robert Timms. This is my nephew Landon, and I want to say, I don't know if everybody here realizes that you have basically the second best bowler in the high school level in your high school right now. The only problem is he's not on a team, and I've been in contact, and I know Mr. Bartow's trying to do something, but we haven't been able to get anything done and get him on a team. I know that there's kids that want to bowl, and Landon has, like, I don't know if at this point this season, we're a month away, and the season's going to start, and he doesn't have a co-op, he doesn't have a team, and this kid's going to win a state title in bowling before he graduates. So I just give it to Landon, but as a group here, call a friend, call somebody at Hills, Peaver, get him on a Skyland team so he can compete for a state title. And I'll give it to him if you guys want to. Go ahead, Bo.
Come on, Landon.
That was me getting choked up here. But we got to get this kid on a team.
How long have you been bowling?
Since I've been able to pick up a bowling ball. Yeah, I've been bowling my entire life. Average-wise and winning-wise in Morris County tournaments I can enter without being on a high school team. I've won, well, I placed second in the Lehigh Valley Masters, which is just the entire Lehigh Valley area. All junior bowlers bowl in it. I finished second in that. Along with, not as a high school event, but I've bowled with the Phillipsburg bowling team in a Morris County tournament, and I've won that with them. And in all these teams, I've been the anchor bowler, which
The best bowler.
I have a couple schools asking me to bowl for them because Belvidere does not have a team, which is Phillipsburg, Warren Tech, and Warren Hills. I've talked to all of their coaches, and they'd say they'd want me to bowl on their team. We have emailed Warren Tech's athletic director that, and he said if I'm not enrolled in the school, I can't bowl in it. But Phillipsburg, I believe, Mr. Bartow, you contacted Phillipsburg, right? And they said no?
They took second last year.
Yes. Although technically you're allowed to have 5, but technically the team is 5. I mean, I don't know if it's too late for Belvedere, but I mean, I have 6 kids. We have a coach who's going to do it for free. He's a USBC certified coach. Not like a professional like TV, but he's technically we're both classified as
Greg Cat.
he's classified.
I contacted Porto and agreed to do it for free and, have the practices and help like dad training coach. I have
So let's say this, because I know Mr. Blum had emailed a couple of us this morning about this and said that he knew somebody,
he's my boss.
yeah, he said you were going to come and discuss this. So I think we're going to take a good look at this. I know Mr. Bartow had said, exactly what he just said about, the teams that, the need rather than with just putting someone on a team. I just, I don't ever mind trying to call in a favor to some superintendents, but just want to make sure we're not violating any NJSIA rules by seeing, like if let's say he goes and bowls with Peaburg, we want to make sure that nobody's disqualified or anything crazy like that, so.
Because I know Belvedere missing some track when Patterson.
Yeah.
They didn't have co-ops. I know they ran hills as a Belvedere athlete and won state titles.
Right.
Help Warren Hills, they're going to win a state title and then have to win itself in the Belvedere jersey.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to look into this. This is, we don't normally comment on public comment, but we're going to look into this because I think you made a pretty compelling case. So we'll take a look at it.
Like there,
Yeah.
practice sport.
No, I get it. We got you. We know the time frame. We definitely understand the crunch. So we'll put some acceleration on this one. Got it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you, Landon.
Yep. Good job. Good job.
Okay, any other public participation? No? Okay. Correspondence? No. Superintendent's report.
We're going to start our superintendent's report tonight. I believe Mayor Myers is here to help present a little recognition for some of our students. And Mrs. Wenner brought up at the last board meeting, Brady and Mason Scott, putting together the Summer Wiffle Ball League. I'm just going to read what Mrs. Wenner sent in an email to me just to kind of encapsulate what the boys did. Mrs. Wenner will eliminate the typos, don't worry.
Thank you.
One of the things I really like was Mrs. Wenner started out with a quote from Dr. Seuss. Sometimes you never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. So it's great. And it is for this reason I want to recognize Brady and Mason Scott for their contributions to the community and the students of the Belvidere School District. Mason and Brady collaborated on a community wiffle ball tournament. Initially, the tournament began with a few students but quickly grew in interest. As more kids wanted to become involved, team captains were created, and a team draft was well on its way. An Instagram page was created, and the draft was live streamed. Each player had to write up on their qualifications, and teams were formulated. As the games were played, They were advertised and live streamed so family and friends could watch and participate. The season continued longer than initially expected, running from June 23rd to August 20th. Throughout the 9 weeks of participation, Brady and Mason provided real-time updates to keep fans and players engaged, including game highlights, game times, date updates, motivational comments, individual player statistics, team statistics, visual effects, videos, etc. The season itself was a great success, with the kids looking forward each week to the games and oftentimes planning their social calendars around game day so not to miss a game. Playoffs, MVPs, league leaders, etc. It was truly a wonderful experience for the kids and a true example of community spirit and initiative. It is their unrealized contribution in creating an exciting and well-orchestrated sporting event to Belvidere. The Summer League provided the kids purpose, something to look forward to, built camaraderie, and created fun, healthy memories to look back on with a smile. So congratulations, boys. You did an outstanding job. Mayor is here. She has a certificate for you. Mayor, I don't know if you want to say anything.
I'd like to thank the Board of Ed for allowing us to be part of this partnership to recognize an exceptional accomplishment by these young men. So for the town of Belvidere, a certificate of recognition awarded to Mason Scott and Brady Scott for your unrealized contribution to the community and to the students of Belvidere School District by creating an exciting and well-orchestrated wiffle ball tournament. That was a stroke of genius that built a healthy camaraderie and was a true example of community spirit and initiative. So, Mason?
Congratulations.
Great. Good job. Thank you.
Mason, while you're up there, we'd like you to give us 2 minutes on why the Jets will be 12-5 this year. Congratulations, it's well-deserved. I think it's great to see a nice community event like that. I know a lot of afternoons I drive by 3rd Street and you can see a big crowd out there watching wiffle ball. So well done, gentlemen. Hope you keep it up. Great job. All right. Now we'll go on to some more fun stuff. We'll do the testing presentation. So Dr. McKinney, come on out. Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay. You guys don't need to stay if you don't want to see the testing presentation. If it's up to you guys, you can jump out. But I'm telling you, it's exciting this year, so. All right. I did send the testing presentation to the board members in the update this past weekend. One of the things that we have been often asked to do, which we really have never done a great job of, is comparing how the students progressed. And actually, I have to give credit to Mr. Karabinas because we were having a discussion last week about the test scores, and we were comparing last year's 3rd grade or 2022's 3rd grade to 2023's 3rd grade, and he said we need to make sure we compare the 3rd grade to how they did as 4th graders. So we did more of that rather than comparing the grades. So our testing presentation, I'll take care of the NJSLA items, and Dr. McKeon will just talk about SATs and AP and the others. So we just put this into the federal requirements. Again, grades 3 through 8 are going to be tested, and then once again in high school. This isn't nothing new. What is new is just the way that the state of New Jersey continually changes the way we test. Okay, so, if you go back, if you've been around long enough, you can remember NJ-ASC, you can remember GEPA, you can remember HSPT, HSPA. So now we're on NJSLA. Okay, this is always the important thing to know. You want students in the 4s and the 5s, the meeting expectations or exceeding expectations. 750 and above is that, and then you can see approaching is 725 to 749. Partially is 700 to 724. The lowest grade you can get is a 650, and 650 to 699 is in that one. And then you can see the timing of the test. The majority of the tests are 3 hours, with the exception of grade 3, ELA 2.5, and science grade 11 is 4 hours. Okay, so here's our side-by-side comparison, our average test score. So for ELA, and I wrote Belvidere Elementary only, our students, when they were in 3rd grade 2 years ago to 4th grade, they went from a 732 down just a little bit to a 729. From the 4th to 5th, they went down 11 points. You can see grade 5, they went down for 7. Grade 6 was pretty even, and then grade 7 to grade 8, they jumped up about that same amount of 7 points. Those are average scores, so that includes all the students that passed and the students that did not. Go ahead. Okay, and you can see the math comparisons, 735 to 732, 727, 723, 713 up to 719, 720 up to 730. Math in grade 7, I broke it down because remember that our more advanced students will take Algebra 1, so the grade 8 is 708, and then the Algebra 1, 753. I will say that for the first time, and as long as I can remember, we had one student that actually passed the grade 8 exam, which we hadn't had in a while. And in our algebra scores, 9 out of 12 were 750 and above. That's also the first time we've had algebra students in 8th grade pass the exam in a long time. So that's not just passing, but quite a few passing. So great job in the 8th grade level, and Miss Fran specifically for taking that program and running with it. Okay, you can see our average scores compared to the state. So average, and you can see we're below in most areas with the ELA. I won't read all of them. You can see, and you can see kind of where we are with that. Same thing with math. Okay. The interesting thing that we're noticing is traditionally our ELA scores, not just us, but most districts, ELA scores are always stronger. It seems that we've shifted to math scores being stronger now, especially when you get to the higher grades. It's one of those things that's been trying to figure that out. I think with COVID, the ability to read and write, and Mr. Owens is probably going to start shaking his head a little bit, and digest the information and turn it back has been lost a little bit, where math skills because they seem to be year to year, we seem to have done much better. Okay. Our science scores, you can see where we were against the state. Grade 5, we were 143 to 166. Grade 8, we were a touch above, 164 to 162. And grade 11, a little below with that 171 to the 155. And this is...
So instead of NJSLA in grade 11, they take the NJGPA. This is their graduation placement test. So you can see for ELA, we had the 758 compared to the 764, which is pretty good. And again, math, 720. The state average was 734. So they're trying. The kids do try hard. Some of these, I know sometimes the teachers will peek at the test and they'll say, wow, some of those questions were really difficult. And the other thing, sometimes they don't get to some of the material when the test comes around, and that makes it a little bit more difficult for the kids, but they do try really hard, so I give them a ton of credit. So here are our AP scores from last year, last May. You can see we had 12 kids take biology, 7 in AP Calc. We had 3 in computer science principles, 7 in English language, 12 in English lit, 3 European history, 3 in physics, 3 in Spanish, 8 in statistics, and we had 13 in United States history. We did not run environmental science last year. We just didn't have the numbers for that class last year. So you can see the number of students who scored 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. Obviously, our goal is to have the kids in the 3, 4, and 5 range. One of the things that we do to try to throw some incentive to our students is we give them their money back for the tests if they do score 3s, 4s, or 5s. So there are quite a few kids who will email me in the summer and say, hey, Ms. McKinney, I scored 3s, 4s, and 5s. How do I go about getting my money back? So we tell them just to send us their score reports, we write out the PO, and we send them that check. You can see the far right, the percent of exams with the scores of 3 or higher. European history was wonderful. You had 100%. And Spanish, we had 3s and 4s, 3s and 5s there. So that was nice to see. And this is just the 5-year summary. We like to take a look at this to see what the trends are in our AP scores, and it just seems to go up and down. So the even years seem to be better years where the kids score higher compared to the odd years, but they did not. I think they went down maybe 7% from 22 to 23. To the right, you can see our total number of AP students, the total number of exams. We have many kids who take multiple AP classes. Sometimes we have kids who are taking 4 AP classes during their senior year, so they do try really hard to take as many higher level classes as they can. And then you can see the AP students with scores of 3 or higher and the percentage. So we've got about 50% of our students who are scoring 3 or higher. Our SAT scores, these were really nice to look at. I was excited. Our school, the total score was 986 compared to the state's score of 891. So that was nice to see that Belvidere students who took the SAT last year did really well with those exams. We had 50 kids take the SAT last year. When it comes to the reading and writing, our school scored 507 compared to the state's 452, and even compared to all testers, which was 490. So again, our students scored well on the SAT. And math, same thing. We were just a little bit above the all testers. We had 479, but compared to the state was 439. So it's nice to see that Belvidere students scored well compared to the rest of the kids in New Jersey who took the SATs. One thing to note, I'm sure you're probably aware, many schools are SAT optional. Our kids take them though because they can get scholarships based on their SAT scores, so they will still take it. It is a good, it does help them when they go to college. So we do have a lot of kids who still opt to take the SAT. And then PSAT, we give the PSAT to all of our 10th graders as a practice test for when they get to 11th grade. In 11th grade, they have the option of taking it. So we usually have a third of the 11th graders every year who opt to take the PSAT. And then you can see the Belvidere scores in red compared to New Jersey's scores in blue, and then the national in black. We are a little bit under, but we're not too far off of those scores. So again, the kids, do try, but it gives them an idea of what the SAT will be like when they get ready to take that as a junior, if they decide to, when they're in 10th grade. And then the PSAT in 11th grade, it gives them an idea of what the SAT will be like when they have to take that later on in junior year and then possibly senior year. So some of the curricular additions that we've had this year for Belvidere High School, we have quite a few social science electives. We have modern American history through entertainment. We ran that a few years ago. We brought it back. Abnormal and clinical psychology, forensic psychology, civics, sports analytics, and business, introduction to business. And then we brought back AP Psych. There was a huge demand for AP Psych to run again, and we're running it this year. There are about 12 kids who are taking it, so it's nice. The one thing I do want to point out with our Intro to Business class is that Mr. Feldman is working with the community and bringing some of the community members in and working with them on business ideas, taglines, marketing. So it's really nice to have that tie back to the community with our kids. And one of our students created a tagline that one of the businesses in the community may be using. So once that is made official, I will definitely let everybody know. So it's really nice to know that they're working in conjunction with each other. And then just some of our support programs here at the high school. We still have our response to intervention, which is our multi-tiered support system of supports. We have academic coaches. We have some peer tutoring here in the media center. We have the Cedar Studios, our peer support center, where students can help each other if they need assistance. And then our teachers are available during lunch twice a week for 15 minutes to help the students. But many of them go way above and beyond that to provide our students with assistance. Okay.
So again, our BES additions, K-3, again, as Dr. McKinney had mentioned, our RTI process, continuing with our academic and behavior coaches. I'm sure Mr. Karabinas would love to give us a little bit on PICA PAC, character education. And you can see 4 to 5, the things that we're doing all the way down through 6 through 8, including the math labs, personal finance, computer science study skills, and that second step, character education. The only thing I just want to mention also, and this is the end of the presentation with our testing, was when I was analyzing the test scores, and again, 750 being the cutoff for passing. From grades 3 to 8, we had, I believe it was 26 students that were between a 740 and a 750. So really like 2 or 3 questions would push them up. Mr. Karabinas and I have been meeting with his staff over the course of the last week, going through not only our SLA scores, but also our Linkit Form A, and you've heard a lot about Linkit. And we're going to really start to focus in on the students that are sitting on the bubble, because we think our bubble students, when they get to the test, are doing just a little bit under where we need them to be. And then we're going to really design, especially after Form B, those personal, the skills that they need to go, because we can break it down by every individual student. That we know not every individual student is off on every skill, but we can now dial it in almost like an individual plan for each student. So that's where we're headed with that. And if there's any questions, feel free.
I have a question. So on the state level testing, where we're, I think on every subject, we're below 750 except for algebra.
Yeah.
So below the state, below what was passing. But on SAT, I think we were above the state on every. So what do you see as the reason for being below on the one end, but above?
So keep in mind, I think that a relatively simple explanation is when you get to the SATs, not every student is taking the SATs. So for the most part, your more academic students are taking the SATs. That NJSLA testing, every student's taking it, no matter what, where they're academically, where they're interested in it. I always look at it as the kids that want to take SATs want to take the SATs. So they show up on the Saturday, they generally do really well. I'd say probably a third of our kids don't want to be taking any standardized tests, and it reflects a lot of times within the testing. And that's something we look at. In fact, it's actually, I was with Mr. Carabina saying in his faculty meeting, there's one particular student we were looking at their Linkit scores, blown away by how well that student did in that particular one, but likely when they take the SLA test have zero interest in it, and the scores don't reflect that. So I think that's what we start to see.
And I just have one other question. So again, on the standardized testing that all the kids take, was there a lot of turnover year to year in the class composition?
Yeah, it's probably more than you would realize. It's one of the things that we do talk about when we meet with the teachers, how many move-ins and move-outs we actually, I mean, it's not, I don't want to make it sound like it's 35 per grade, but you take 3 or 4 per grade and you bring them in and out, then, and again, a lot of times we realize too, when we get students that are coming in, and for some reason we seem to get a lot of students from Clifton, we're not always getting the full academic picture of where those students are when they get here. And sometimes it takes you a little bit of time to get that.
Thank you.
Yep. So there's no other question. I just want to mention 2 more things in my report, and I'll use this mic to do it while I'm standing. I want to compliment the staff and the students for what I thought was one of the best homecoming weeks we've had in quite a long time. The school spirit last week was outstanding. I think there was close to over 200 students at the dance, which is, as long as I can remember, one of the best numbers. It was just great to see everybody getting involved with the different days and the spirit days and then the pep rally and everything. And just compliment to student government, Ms. Koch is here, Mr. Benson, and then just the students themselves. I think they did a excellent job. The staff to support that. I know we had Stall Day. Mr. Hoyt did a great job with that and raising money for different charities. So it's just, I think last week was a great week. It was a positive week around here for Belvidere, and I really do appreciate that. And then, unfortunately, the game was a little bit lousy because I think mostly because of the weather. There was quite a few people here still standing out here getting soaking wet. Mr. Karabinas and I were standing there. He had an umbrella, I did not, so one of us was more wet than the other. And then the week before that, we had Cedar Saturday, which I thought was also well attended too. It was just great. It was just great to see the school spirit. And again, there's moments when you're the superintendent and you're proud to be part of a district, and the last week and a half is certainly one of those moments, or multiple moments. So thank you to everybody that was involved. And that's my report.
Okay, so now we are on to our student representative report.
Okay. Going off of the student government, we just finished our homecoming activities this past week and had over 180 students at our dance, which we held in the gym. So now we're on to planning Snowball, which will be January 5th. Travel Club has successfully coordinated and carried out parking spot painting for the seniors. And then our Leo Club and National Honor Society are planning our fall service trip to the Chelsea on October 31st.
Okay. Good job. Thank you very much. All right, so let's move on to policy. We're going to look at items 1 through 17. Can I have a motion to approve the following items? I don't think there's anything on the, nope, nothing for that on the addition. Any questions?
Just a reminder, it's first reading, so if you go through them again and you do have questions, please let me know before a second reading, which would be at the next board meeting, and then there's something that came up, I can get you the answer as soon as possible.
Any questions? Okay, if anybody comes up with them, email Mr. Kruba. All right, so that's an all in favor.
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstentions? Okay. So now we're on to personnel items 18 through 33. Can I have a motion to approve those items?
Motion.
Any questions? And there's no additions.
Is 33A part of
Right.
this?
Yes.
Oh, yep, I forgot there was an A. Yes. Did you get that? Yeah, you got it. Okay. Any questions on any of them? No? Okay, so roll call, please.
Mr. Ackerman? Dr. Suppeth?
Yes.
Mrs. Duckworth?
Yes.
Gardella?
Yes.
Mr. McElroy?
Yes.
Mr. Scott? Yes. Mrs. Steffen?
Yes.
Mrs. Winter?
Yes.
Mr. Winter?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're looking at education items 34 and 35, and there is an addition. 34 and 35, there's updates. All right. Can I have a motion to approve those following items?
Motion.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any noes? Okay. So now we are on to business items 36 through 43, and there is no additions. Can I have a motion to approve those items?
Motion.
Any questions? No questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Abstentions? Okay. All right, so we are on to continuing business. Does anybody have continuing business?
I could just update a little bit on the regionalization process. I think I'll try to do that every meeting. We're just waiting for approval of the state of the vendor we'd like to use to go through the consulting group. Not surprising, it seems when you deal with the state of New Jersey, there's always a little bit of red tape that has to get cut through. So we're in the process of doing that, but expectation is in the November meeting, we'll have that group up for approval. And we are looking at this point, at least timeline-wise, we should have a full report by September 1st of '24.
Any other continuing business?
Yeah, I think you brought up for me last week or last meeting about the website and / communications to the parents.
Yes.
Where are we at on that? I did not have a chance to go back through the website. I apologize for that. I meant to do that.
I have to say I have not either, so. Mr. Lee, you want to talk about the website?
Yep. Yep.
Did you update the times? I always thought that it was a big one, the times on the, like when school gets out, when school starts, early dismissal, things like
Yes.
that? It's just somewhere on there? Okay, thank you.
What about all the outdated information? There's videos on there from like 2020, Meet Your Teachers, back in 2020. Some
I
of those
think
teachers
the
aren't even
new
there anymore.
website, I think,
It was on there. No, it was on there
it?
last time I looked,
Oh.
yes. All right, I will take it upon myself then to go do a critique.
I saw the news feeds were updating too, like the coming events and stuff. Yep.
Beautiful. I will,
Good.
like I said, I apologize. I was my thing last time, and I did not get a chance to look, but I will look.
We had talked, Eric and I talked after the last meeting too, and we were kicking around whether or not, like, a little, like, video of like a how-to thing or a little, like, send-out thing, like, where to look for this kind of
Or
thing.
Q&A.
Yeah,
do a
what was it?
section, Yeah.
Tech tips, yeah. Like whether or not we could put something like that together, to like a weekly thing, be
Yeah.
out, or a monthly thing. Hey, tech tip for finding this or that too might be really helpful,
Yeah.
especially since we have the new one. Yeah. 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 For all us non-tech savvy people,
Yes,
that'd
all
be
the
lovely. Yeah, all the parents have to get our kids to do it for us. Any other continuing business?
Yeah, what about Third Street? Where we stand with that?
I've contacted our attorney and let him know what the board voted on at the last meeting. And gone.
He left.
But he is putting some information together and then is going to help guide us through the process.
Okay.
Any other continuing business? Nope. New business. New business, I'll start by saying, so everybody knows, there is a play coming up for the high school. It's, what's the name? I forget, Edgar Allan,
Oh.
yeah, it's Edgar Allan Poe,
Let me tell you in a second.
The Complete Works, or, I
Oh, hopefully
forget.
not the complete works will be here.
Oh,
I don't
no,
know what it is.
what, I'm sorry, my girls are spotlighting it, and I
Yeah,
don't even know.
tell you.
But that is coming up this next weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so look for that to be coming out.
I'll send information out.
Yes. So yes, there is a fall play that is coming up that they've been working on. So I want to make sure everybody knew that. Come out if you can.
When is it?
Hang on,
It's
I'll
next
tell you right now.
weekend.
It is called the Edgar Allan Poe Afterlife Radio Show.
There you
Oh,
go.
fun.
Okay, it
Yeah.
is Thursday, the 26th, Friday, the 27th, Saturday, the 28th. All shows at 7. Adults, $8. Senior citizens and students, $5.
And that's at the Playhouse by the deli?
That is at the
No.
Playhouse in Belvidere High School.
Oh,
So in
here,
our
okay.
auditorium.
Oh, good.
Yes, our playhouse. All right.
He's got it.
Oh, he's got it.
I got it, Jeff. Mr. Holmes,
He
thanks.
had it. You can put it right in front of the camera.
Up on the school website.
Nice. I don't care, you can. They don't need to see us, so there you go. There's the advertisement.
Eric will tell you how it looks. There you go.
Nice. There we go. Good job.
Thank you, Mr. Owens.
All right. Any other new business?
I'd just like to say that I don't know if it's all the same art teacher that does this, but I really like what they did with the parking lot out
Yes.
there.
Oh, it's
Yeah, they have student
wonderful,
government, yeah, they did a nice
Great,
job.
and
Yep.
also the downtown. with the
Businesses.
windows,
Yes.
It looks fantastic, so
Awesome.
good
Turn your
job.
thing on, boys.
Good job to the art department for all that really nice-looking stuff and shows our school spirit and it gets the kids involved in the community. I really like it.
Yep. Very good.
I got a couple of things, because, I do. I'm going back this year to the BHS Career Day, which is for Bangor High School, which I mentioned last year. And I'm sure we're going to do one this year for our students as well, correct?
Absolutely.
Because I would really like to go to the
thinking about that the other day.
BHS that stands for Belvidere.
You got it. Absolutely.
I think it's well received at their high school, so, anything we could do here. And the other thing I have, it came across it today, I got an email. There's a thing called Tap Into Phillipsburg. Don't really care about that. But what was advertised was the Student Athlete of the Week for Phillipsburg. More importantly, it was sponsored by McWayne Ductal for 12 weeks, which means they're paying to be the company who is advertised when they're doing the Student Athlete of the Week. So there's money there that we should be trying to get. But it's Tap Into Phillipsburg is the news feed that it comes through on. and it gave information on how to become a company sponsor. So I'm assuming there will be also information that we could steal to possibly be a sponsor for Belvidere High School Student Athlete of the Week.
We have
And
to
we
look
have,
into that.
and we have
Good idea.
big companies in town that might want to sponsor. McWayne Ductil's sponsoring it for 12 weeks.
That's good.
That was all I
idea.
had.
Yeah.
Good idea. Any other new business? Can I ask Mr. Bartow how our teams are doing, since we're getting towards the end of the seasons? Next week. Okay.
So since you asked, the girls currently sit in sixth. The girls sit in sixth in both, Mr. Bartow, in soccer and field hockey.
There you go.
Good.
And
job.
See if the boys have changed.
Just got the website down pat. Okay. Any other new business? No? Okay, we are on to the second public participation. Do we have any? Come on up.
Joe Roth from Belvidere Town Council. I didn't say anything at the last meeting, and you're not going to get that twice in a row, so I had to stand up and say something. Belvidere also now has a brand-new website, which we launched about 2 months ago, really. It went live, and we're adding content to it, and it's really starting to blossom. I'd just like to invite the school to set up their own page on the Belvidere website. Be just another way for you to highlight everything that's going on, the good things. Also, you'll have the ability to have a click on that. It'll bring you right back to your own website. And so it'll be an easy sharing back and forth. So please, by all means, I'll work with the young man over here to get the information, and he can go set that up. So thank you very much.
Awesome,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Anyone else for public participation? Going once, going twice? Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.